I would take meetings and execs would straight up say to your face, opening up the meeting, hey, great to meet you, Malcolm. Now, you know we don't do black projects here.
We need new heroes, ones suited for the times we're in. Courageous, righteous, the best in all of us.
Both you and Kevin Feige have said Falcon and Winter Soldier will explore race and identity in America, probably more than past MCU projects. How would you describe the show's approach to Sam in that regard?
You know, I knew showing up being black that all the Marvel characters have very decided identities. Thor talks like someone from Asgard. T'Challa talks like a king, you know what I'm saying? Captain America talks like the captain of the football team. You know, and Iron Man, you know, all these characters have distinct personalities. We knew that Sam needed to be decidedly black in his identity and his mannerisms. At the same time, Anthony had also constructed a Sam that existed for 10 years, that had to be regal and very, very heroic. Sam is a black man, and not only is he a black man, he's a black man from the South. And we knew that the stars and stripes, that symbol in his hand, doesn't mean the same thing it does in Steve's hand, because it just means something else. And you can't hide from it, and we would have been making a fake show if we tried to.
Obviously, you don't just graduate right from film school to a Marvel series. You've been a working screenwriter and a producer for a long time. I mean, first off, did you go to film school? Like, what can you tell us about the beginning of your journey?
Nah, I didn't go to college. I didn't go to film school. You know, it was a difficult journey. I didn't know how to function in this culture. You know what I'm saying? So my career fell apart a few times, just not knowing how to interface with a culture that's very different from how I came up. Mm-hmm. But, you know, eventually I figured it out, and it came to me late in life, you know, meaning this. I sold first script 20 years ago, but for the first 10 to 12 years, I mostly did not make my money in screenwriting. You know, if we was in another forum, I'd happily go into more detail. You know what I'm saying? You'll find other stuff out there, but I just want to be respectful of Disney.
I remember the episode of Script Notes where you were talking about all the heat you generated at some point. And then I think you said you just fell off the map for like 3 to 4 years. So obviously
4.5 years, bro.
Yeah.
No work, no reps, nobody answer my phone calls, and I hadn't done nothing wrong. I just let my career die because I didn't know how to make a career work.
When it comes to representation in Hollywood, so much of the conversation tends to focus on screen, but like the bigger, as all the studies will tell you, the bigger discrepancies tend to be off screen or further below the line. You said before, I got to work twice as hard to get half as far. What sort of frustrations have you faced as a black screenwriter in this industry?
I would take meetings and execs would straight up say to your face, opening up the meeting, hey, great to meet you, Malcolm. Now, you know we don't do black projects here. Now, once someone has said that, you already know they've identified you appropriately as black. They're telling you they don't do black projects, and they definitely have put you in a box that means you are not going to work here. Again, the first project I ever sold, it was a project about a black kid. This is before Fast and Furious and all that, so the term multiculti didn't exist. A black kid who wanted to be a skateboarder in the X Games, right? And it was hot, and I was the hot dude out. Eventually, I got the note. This hurts me more to say than you to hear it. This is the only black character in the movie. We have to change that kid to a white dude, right? And magnify that by 1,000, and it just was very, very, very difficult and very, very frustrating. And along comes Empire.
Now, I remember working on that 6 months before I went to prison. So whose DNA is in that, Lucius, huh?
That shattered this first layer of diversity. Right after Empire, only a couple years later, Hidden Figures and Black Panther drop, along with a bunch of other projects. And all of a sudden, the business is realizing, oh man, we've been leaving money on the table this whole time. These things are crossing over.
I mean, Lee Daniels, I think, said early on he wanted to make a Black Dynasty. Clearly, that show had just a massive impact on the culture. Did you see Empire sort of early on as a show that could potentially change the landscape of television?
No, I gotta admit, I was so beaten down at that time, I couldn't even imagine a show that black getting made, right? When I saw that thing and you see this is a black show top to bottom, Lee, the writing staff, you know what I'm saying, the actors, I was like, God bless them. I did not know that show would do that well. And to be fair, what could I have based it on? The Cosby Show 20, 30 years earlier, you know what I'm saying? Took a while to get my confidence back too. This, you know, working at Marvel, they've been very good. Like, Marvel is tough, but man, they are supportive. The way they work is Kevin trusts Nate, and Nate must have said, this is my guy, and Nate advocated for me, and we was off and running after that. There were a few cities around the country way back then that were comic book cities. Berkeley had 2 legendary shops, and me and my boys from South Berkeley, man, we'd be up in them stores all the time. When we was broke, we'd steal the books. You know, I'm sure they knew we was doing it. And to go from that to watching the Marvel movies and then get to do this thing, it's a dream come true. In a million years, I never thought I'd actually be able to be there.